Hi guys, this is Mr. Dufour from Mossdale. Today we're going to learn about an artist known as Georges Seurat. So Seurat was born in Paris, France. He's a European artist. He unfortunately died at the age of 31. However, in his short lifespan, he actually created a style of art which is known as Pointillism. One of the things I want you to think about when you think about Pointillism is the point of a pencil. A pencil, if you were to just drop it on a piece of paper, vertically, it would make a dot. And this is a great way to help you to learn and think about what pointillism is. He used tons of dots to create artwork. And one of the cool things about dots is that as you make more and more dots next to one another, it makes an object. And so hence the term pointillism, applying color in dots. Okay. Another thing that's really neat that started occurring is when he was mixing the primary colors, the reds, the blues, and the yellows with all those dots, it eventually made secondary colors. So once again, when you are mixing two primary colors, they make a secondary color. And as you can see from this color wheel, there are the three primary colors, the blue, the red, and the yellow. When mixing all of these dots, you start making violets, the oranges, the greens, the brown. Okay, and so dots tend to make a pixelated kind of image. You can see some of the dots are more apparent than others, and then at times they blend. And that obviously relates to the size of the dots, and then also the colors that are blending. Okay. Some of the artwork, obviously, you really can see the pixelated dots, and then others, once again, it blends in. And not only is it because of color, but it's also due to your eyes. When you get really close to pointillism, the artwork, you see the dots, but as you step away and create some distance between you and the masterpiece, your eyes actually blend those dots in. Your eyes are kind of like a lens. They bring these dots into focus and out of focus. So you have two things going on here: the blending of dots due to primary and secondary colors, and then your eyes doing the same, focusing for you. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a tree that is going to help us to learn about pointillism. We are going to be using Q-tips because we want you to see how pointillism evolved and also the amount of time and focus it requires. One of the things that you'll notice is that when you put that Q-tip in your hand, you almost want to think of it as something that is not a paintbrush, because usually with a paintbrush we make strokes. We want to get away from that. You're really going to have to explicitly think about making dots. However, let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about Georges Seurat and pointillism, and then we'll go back to recreating his art. Please enjoy.
Meet Georges Seurat. Why, hello, bonjour. George, well, actually, most famous artists are only called by their last name, so let's just call him Seurat. Now, Seurat was born in Paris, France in 1859, into a pretty wealthy family. Of course, even today to live in Paris, you need to have quite a bit of money. And back then, things really weren't that different. You had to have a lot of cash. Very true. So after a few years had passed, 19 to be exact, Seurat went to attend the École des Beaux-Arts, which was a very famous art school in France. Typically, only the most serious of students went to this fancy art school. And I got to go. Now, while at this school, Seurat spent 2 years just trying to perfect black and white drawings. You know, many artists just don't start painting and sculpting right away. Most artists start with the basics, paper and pencil. That's right. I love drawing with pencil. Now, when Seurat was 24 years old, he spent an entire year, that's right, you heard me right, an entire year working on his first real painting. I was a very patient artist. It was this painting, called Bathers at Asnières. You could actually call them swimmers rather than bathers. Check out all the bright colors. Man, you like those colors, right? Right. After finishing this painting, he decided to send it to the Paris Salon. I'm ready for my haircut. No, not that kind of salon. This was a kind of like a museum where artists could show their newest creations. But not just anybody could show his or her artwork here. No, no. You had to be judged by a bunch of grumpy people. Well, maybe they weren't all grumpy, but still, who only like dark, gloomy paintings with lots of mood. Bright colors? Blah. Yuck. Of course, after taking one look at Seurat's colorful painting, they told him that there was no way they were going to show his painting. Poor guy. It's okay. I don't mind. Ah, but like most great artists, he stuck with it and didn't give up. Now that is dedication. Why, thank you. Soon after this happened, Seurat noticed that several of his artist friends were being rejected too for their colorful artwork. So, they decided to get together and create a club, or a group, and they called themselves the Society of Independent Artists. I would call it a group of artists and friends who just, they painted differently, whether others liked it or not. Just after Seurat started his art club with some of his art buddies, he decided to challenge himself with this enormous painting. He called it The Sunday Afternoon on the Island of Le Grand Jas. It's French for big river, big lake. It's completely not important. But what's really important is that you understand how big this thing is. Now, we need something to give us some sort of sense of scale. Something big to look at, to compare it to. What could we use? Oh, did you just see that? A minivan just dropped into the scene. Man, that was definitely not what I was thinking of, but that will work. Now, do you see how big this minivan is back here? Yeah, guess what? This minivan is like 10 feet wide. So this painting that George Seurat worked on, it was over 10 feet wide, 10 feet long. That's huge. Now, if you also notice, right, it's actually taller than the minivan because the painting itself is 7 feet tall. That's huge. Now, something that big, you gotta understand. How long do you think it would take him to finish that painting? Give me an idea. What do you think?
2 days.
2 days? Definitely not 2 days. A week? No, a week is definitely not going to cut it. A month? No. Okay, I got to help you guys out. Listen, you got to come close to hear this. It took Seurat 2 years. 2 years. He worked on that painting every day for 2 years. Yeah, that's crazy, right? I mean, I can't hold an attention span to do that. That's nuts. But he did it. Now, you think that's amazing? You got to come close. You got to see this. Let's zoom in on this painting. Come look. All right, now do you see that? Now do you see all those like hundreds of dots of paint, and they're all these different colors, right? That's crazy. Each one is individually put on. Okay, now guess what that's called? Pointillism. That's right, pointillism. That's right. It's the art term we have for today. Now, do you remember the?
So, boys and girls, as you now see, we are going to be practicing using George Seurat's pointillism. And what we're going to be doing is making dots, a perfect example of an object coming together with small little parts. A tree. A tree has a variety of leaves in their colors, and together it makes an entire image or object. So what we will be doing today is creating artwork inspired by George Seurat. We will be creating a piece of artwork known as pointillism using Q-tips. And once again, please try to focus on making small dots. It is very time consuming, but as you can see, the final product is amazing. Remember, art is supposed to be fun. We're experimenting with a variety of different techniques. And so just trust the process, have fun, and enjoy. Have a great time, guys.